This is your host, B-Girl Awoke. Regular DJ for the break at 7 on Monday nights at 7. Later on tonight, we're going to have Johnny B-side with the Johnny Beach side. I think earlier I said Johnny backside. I was like, backside of the island. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, beach side. But that's later on tonight at 7, so make sure you stay tuned for that show. So, what's up with the Q&A? That amazing set, loved it all the way to the end, and I like how you got really heavy in the songs later on. In the, I could see the build up and everything like that. So that was really, I just enjoyed the progression. It never seemed like the same DJ in one set. You could tell that it was progressing, kind of through different stages. You said you had a method for that?
Yeah, I mean, there's some shuffling that I do. You know, you have to, it's all about the mood and the intensity and the energy level as the set progresses, and you kind of have to balance it out in different ways.
I really enjoyed hearing you talk about that because I was like, oh my god, I feel like I do the same thing. I just, of course, someone else would think of my great idea. But no, it was nice to know. It was nice to know that, like, okay, there is method to my madness that is, you know, is being replicated.
Yeah, definitely. It's something you do a lot. I mean, you know, you try to, when I put together a set, I think it's a masterpiece.
Right.
The story behind it.
Right. So the first question I want to ask you is, because I've known you for so long and I've kind of seen you in a lot, I've met you and seen you in a lot of different scenes. You were heavily in the psytrance scene for a while. Right? And what's your current relationship with psytrance?
I mean, I still love it. I still have a bunch of psytrance songs, you know. I mean, when I was into the psytrance thing, it wasn't as much of a DJ before, you know. I just kind of got back into the scene about a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago. It was due to another psytrance DJ, but a lot of it was just listening to tracks, and you know, I love dancing to it. It's really fast music, and right now it's on a hiatus. Is that how you say that? Hiatus.
Yeah, hiatus.
I'll be back
a
to
break.
it one day. It's on a break.
Oh, right.
It's on a vacation, extended vacation, and it's on a sabbatical.
How do you think the psytrance scene differs from the scene you find yourself in today?
I guess you could say the house scene is what I think
yes.
you're alluding to. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot different. I mean, the vibe of the music, the tempo of it. Psytrance much faster. The kind of art that you see in it, the kind of mentality. I mean, but at the same time, it's all music, and it's the underlying part of it. It's the same thing, which is making people get together, you know, enjoy things and dance together.
Right. And then, do you see yourself? So, do you see yourself moving into that genre? I would say, like, yeah, sure, possibly right now by your answer. But we were also talking about your influences in hip hop because you're a break dancer too. I mean, you've breaked. Not that you're like a break dancer fan, but I remember going to clubs with you, and you and I would break dance.
Yeah,
so
I could do the one.
A little footwork. I think. Would you do a backspin? I'm sure you spun around.
Yeah, I do flares a little bit, crab, whatever, 6-step. I mean,
he's got the worm, ladies and gentlemen.
You know, I used to actually go before the shutdown to this show in Oakland called Ecstatic Dance every week, and they actually have them, I think, out here for sure. This one was in Oakland. It's like a huge ballroom, Sweets ballroom. It's 300 or something people show up. They all take their shoes off, and every Wednesday we would just dance. So
it's funny you brought that up. I actually was thinking about that the other day and thinking about how cool it would be for the island, mainly just to get together and do something like ecstatic dance here. I mean, it's so the rules are, or there's no talking. So you come into the dance floor and you just dance, and there's people doing like acro dance. Yeah, so partner dancing.
Some people just sit down and meditate. Some people just do these dances where they're getting out certain kind of things out of it. You don't always have to dance to the beat of the DJ. And as far as the music goes, it can be anywhere from dub to house music to even dubstep for a song or two. It's a very tribal feel, and everyone's dressed in tribal type.
And no alcohol. They will sell tinctures and like coconut juice. Coconut, yeah, right? I know. For some reason, they just taste better there. You can get them anywhere, but
dance for an hour.
Give me a coconut. Yeah. So, God, yeah. You know, I might have to experiment with that, see how it does here.
Really cool. Just an exciting dance.
Right, and on the beach or something, I would just love it. Okay, I'm over that other question I was gonna ask you, but how or who taught you how to b-boy?
How to break? Okay, so I guess the best answer is I taught myself. You know, when I was a kid, I started going to raves about when I turned 17, and I started looking at these people having all this fun, and they were doing these amazing dance things. That's when I first started getting into dancing, and I loved it, and it was just like something you can be involved with, and you know, this also comes from days of like going to like teener bopper dances, and like anyone who can spin on their head is like, you know, amazing.
Yeah, well, still, cuss word. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
So I just basically started getting into it when I got into raves, and to me it was something that I would just do all the time. Sometimes like 3-4 hours a day. Like I could get carpet burns trying to like, learn how to flare and stuff, and just practice and practice and practice, wanting to be so good at it. But what I found out over the years, it's not even all about the breakdancing stuff that I did. It was all about just all the other dance moves that I did, and just learning how to move your body and dance kind of.
Having a repertoire. And I was saying earlier that I really enjoy watching his DJ sets because he's really entertaining behind the decks. I mean, you could tell he really enjoys his music and really enjoys this craft, and I just think that you look so wonderful and natural behind you know, the table playing music. It's new for you, but it's not new for you because, you know, you have been in the music scene and had a love for it in different ways for so long. So I think it's just a natural progression for you. Do you think is b-boy culture as prevalent in the house scene compared to when you first started raving? Like, do you still see it? Is it out there in your world, or is it?
I feel like it's out there less. It's more, I feel like in certain groups of people, you gotta seek it. It's almost like a sport, an activity that you do. I feel like if you look for it, you can definitely find a bunch of people that do it and stuff. I don't see it as much in like, you know, the San Francisco clubs, or, you know, before the shutdown, obviously. Where there'd be a lot of breakdancers, but I feel like 10, 15, 20 years ago, there'd be a lot of that. Those, you know, wearing Adidas or whatever, and just there not only to dance, but dance to like drum and bass and dubstep. Those were two types of genres of songs that made people dance in like all these break b-boy kind of ways.
Right. You know, I really enjoyed your mother, because she would always like my pictures of breaking, and she was very involved, and she had a little bit of the lingo down, and I was very impressed and really enjoyed her energy and her support. How does the memory of your mother play a role in any of the music that you do? In what way in your new life? You know, does the memory of your mother play a role in who you are today and with the music that you're doing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. It's not something I think about a lot. You know,
production, performance, songs.
You know, in your life, you know, this is a person that's influenced me immensely. Loved and lived with my whole life, and so kind of what they were kind of lives on through me and stuff. And of course, like, I don't think about it because I just know it. And definitely, it's influenced them. Yeah, I mean, my mom would have been super proud when I did that, for sure, 100%.
I love that, and I miss her dearly. Like, I really love her. So on that, and like, you know, people in our lives and the transition that we go through with ourselves, and people that come into our lives and go, what advice would you pass on to future party MCs? Like, you know, just MCs now, because not only do you DJ and break, and you're also an MC and a singer, so, you know, putting your voice on a track, it's that step from, you know, wearing the badge of other people's music, and then I feel like you're crossing over the threshold and becoming the performer yourself and putting your own words on it. What advice would you give to the kids crossing over into that, putting their own stamp and vocals through DJing? What advice would you give?
Yeah, I guess never stop. Just do it all the time. And I would say, you know, anytime you have, like, you're in the shower or whatever you are at some place or walking along, no one can hear you, keep practicing, keep flowing, keep spitting those rhymes, keep writing, keep doing it. Just never stop. And it doesn't make you crazy. It just makes you kind of think in all these different ways, more poetically and stuff. It's not a bad thing to entertain your mind. I mean, you can overdo it, where you got to take breaks, and your brain will tell you when you're doing it too much. But unless that happens, just keep doing it all the time, and you start to develop sort of a sense of rhythm and a sense of what rhymes and how to put these rhymes together when you're constructing a flow in the moment and haven't thought about it ahead of time.
Do you feel like you have specific content or direction when you rap? Like, I feel when I hear someone kind of get lost in the raps, they're like one way or the other. Like, they'll go towards pretty aggressive, sexualized thug rap, or maybe they'll go the other way to completely just sort of hip-hop one-liners that are pretty cliche, or like, where do you find
Right.
yourself?
So there's two different ways to answer that question, but when I'm freestyling, I would say one of the reasons sometimes if you hear me flow at a party, it takes me a little while to start up, is because I don't go at it with a preconceived notion of a subject or anything like that. I just start saying words that kind of rhyme with the last words I heard until a subject comes out, and then it starts to be something that's fun to talk about and a fun thing that keeps flowing, and then I'm very natural with it. When it comes to tracks that I have some time to put together, a lot of time recently it's been things that just have been happening on their own, and an amazing experience that I have, and it gives me the hint or the idea to put it into a song, or it brings me to a person, and this person will turn something into it. That's what it's been. It's crazy. As much planning as I like to do, and me, these songs have been completely unplanned.
No, I love that. Yeah, there's definitely the freestyle element, but music to me, it's part of it is being conscious about what you're saying for me, because it becomes a mantra for me in that sense. It's something that I repeat to people. I expect them to repeat it. I want medicine out there. I don't want negativity or low vibe anything, you know what I mean? So I don't so that's where that comes in. But but you need to have that element of freestyle just to be able to get into the beat and kind of, I think of it like jump rope. You gotta find the rhythm, you gotta feel it before you become one with it, and jump into that circle and just become a part of this movement and whole like chaotic thing that's happening. So no, I totally feel you on that. Before we get into the songs that you're talking about, that that you've developed, very raw songs, but good, and he's performed these songs live during his sets, or is developing them for shows. Right now, they're in the development stages, but like I said, it's a huge feat that not all DJs obviously do, is to not only be a DJ, but to come out on the vocal side of it. So we're gonna listen to that up here real quick after this question. At what point will you have felt like you've made it big or got the respect you've always wanted? Is it an event or a person, or at what point will you have been satisfied and felt like you've really made it?
That point is, I feel like it's happening right now. It's been happening since, I think, earlier in this year, and it's weird. This point is not something that just passes. I think when it happens, you just keep it going and you keep extending it, and that point is like the reason you like to do it and want to do it so much. Yeah, I think it's happening now.
You're like, I'm there. The ball is rolling.
But I think that's a good mindset to have. Now, I don't know if what I'm saying is actually what reality is, but there's just my mindset. And I think that's important to have a good mindset.
Right, and enjoy the ride. Enjoy
Yeah.
The ball is moving, and I guess when the ball stops, for me, I just kind of go back into the lab. So it's never, it's always all good. I'm either performing a song or recording a song, or teaching kids how to do what I do, which is just as fulfilling for me. So, B-boy, MC, new DJ that's hitting up the Bay Area and all the way down to LA, actually, doing parties and in the house scene. So living the dream during the quarantine, which is an amazing feat. Like you were saying, we were putting it in terms of the mothership has landed. There was this ceiling that was high up. I like the term. that the bar was set really high. There's all these people, and it's hard to break. It's hard to break into the scene because there's so many people doing it, and they can travel from anywhere, and they're hitting these clubs, and that's where everyone wants to go. But now that everyone's sort of staying put, you're kind of opened up to the new talent that you have available locally. And yeah, it's a total opportunity, door open, and I just love to see people making the best of this time of change, because that is our only guarantee in life, and constant is change. And we could sit here and cry all we want, but look, people are making it right now.
Yeah. And I just want to say, Jen, thank you so much for having me on the show. And speaking of change, I actually have some questions for you. You can answer them.
Okay, okay, Mr. DJ. Oh, I'm getting it switched.
Let me
switch chairs.
Let me get the ignition ready.
Okay.
Turn the booster on.
Lift off.
And let's ask you some questions. Let me just introduce, I guess, a little bit about. There's a podcast that I usually do. It's called the Fast Forward Podcast. Fast Forward is the name of our crew. It's mostly DJs, but I kind of try to venture on into other things, and this podcast is one of those. So this would be like the 5th edition of our podcast, and we got you recorded on media and stuff right now. So I guess say hi to the camera, and let's just start it up. And so, I guess, what does your name Awoke mean? Like, what does it mean to you?
I think that it's changed over the years because, I've had this name since I was in my early 20s, and I don't think I knew all that it could be at that age. And as I've grown up with this name, you know what it's been? It's been a reminder. It was a name that was given to me, and it's stuck, and I ran with it, and now it's a word that's in my life. It's a constant reminder that I am so much more, and to revisit this idea, and to revisit that question. I always have to kind of like revisit this question, like, who am I? This is my name I carry around. So I have to redefine it to myself as I grow as a person. And to me, it's my own sort of anchor to growing in a positive direction through this human experience.
That's a beautiful answer. So let's just now. I'm just really want to know. I'm really curious. How did it all start?
Well, I was first started as an artist. I was really good at art in high school, and then when I went to college, I eventually got around a bunch of artists, and I was like, that's what I want to do. So I went into graphic design. I was around a lot of graffiti artists, a couple from Pueblo that were just amazing, like high-end artists, like right out the gate, because of the competitive kind of atmosphere that they grew up with. So then I was in a college atmosphere, and we're young, so we're all competitive and with our insecurities and egos. And I was so I got into graffiti and paint, aerosol art. And I needed a name that was quick enough to bomb, so the shorter the better, but you also wanted something with symmetry. So you don't want to go over, you don't want, too long, like Recognize would be too long to bomb, So I would, so Awoke is 5 letters, and there's, and then the 5 letters with the O in the middle creates like a really nice symmetry that you can create. So, so I'm on this search for a name, and 3 months I was looking through the alphabet and the dictionary, going through it every night. Literally, this was my homework for like a while, and at first I called myself Vina, which my boyfriend at the time would always make fun of me. He would say it with like this kind of, he would just be, say it with a snicker. Vena is the main artery attached to the heart, which to me, being such a compassionate, emotional person, I just like resonated with that. I've always been told like I was like a very calm, very loving, cuddly child. Like so yeah, I resonated with that. And then, but it didn't work. It wasn't obviously the anchor point for me. It wasn't the name I was gonna stick with. And I kept searching and searching. 3 months go by, and my boyfriend at the time woke me up. Like it was serious, okay? He like shook me up and was like, he's like, no, I know your name. I know your name. He's like, I was dreaming all last night, and in the dream, I kept referring to you as awoke. I kept calling you awoke. And I just laid there and looked up and go, I like it, you know.
That's nice.
Yeah, no, I love being able to say that I was given my name awoke in a dream. To me, it just drives home that sort exactly what it is, the whole experience.
So let me ask you this: what role have your family members played in your life?
My family members, for as far as where I am now with music.
Yeah, like maybe growing up or anything, going from the studio to be a certain way.
Well, I think my brother is probably, everyone knows, is my biggest influence. We definitely, he always inspired me. He was a great artist and drawing. He was more into the Chicano kind of art, Aztec art and stuff like that. And I would always just copy his artwork at first. And I was drawn to everything he was doing. I thought it was really cool. And then of course that's how I got into breaking and rapping as well. Like when I wanted to get to know him better, I went to Colorado to go to college where he was at, and he was throwing hip hop events and stuff like that. Other than that, the person who really drove my athleticism would be my grandfather. He was my coach in softball, and he was just always there and always training with me after school. And because of him and his dedication to my athleticism, that's how I got so that's why I ended up transitioning into sports, being a sports athlete in high school, to being such a good well-prepared athlete for breakdancing when I went into that.
Right, what about rapping? How did you get into rapping, using your voice to make music?
Totally my brother. I think they never admitted it at the time, but I think it was a bet. I do. I think it was a bet between him and his musical partner at the time, Solid Savage. So my brother's name is Wino, Winning Your Nation Over, acronym for Winning Your Nation Over. And Solid Savage, they had a group called Ill Fluent, and I was the backup dancer along with another brother. And they would always go to the studio at Funk 10, that was a DJ record area, a little mobile home DJ setup. But it was good times, when you're young, and that's what you do every day after, is you go create something after school.
And at some point you realize it's something that you like doing.
Yeah, he wanted to get me on a track and told me to write something, and I wrote something. And I think what we discovered at that time was the other brother that was on the track was really good at comedy, like making jokes about making bloopers in your bloomers, stuff like that. But I was just rapping about what I knew, but I had this flow that would change up and carry, and I think I took my skills from, I'd have to say, just like speech class and how to maintain people's attention.
But the people you mentioned, those are like your early influencers. Like those are the people you were.
College kids. We were just a very, group. We were a group of kids that were really into. It was our clique. That was our bread and butter, and we met people who could share this experience with us and be serious, and we could produce something, a product. In our younger years, that was fam.
That's really amazing. How would you describe your style now?
God, I've been thinking about that lately. I definitely would like to I've been thinking about this lately because I want to develop my style more now, because I started rapping again, and I feel like I just do it, and I've been blessed to have the opportunity to be making music consistently. Like every time I'm done with a song, they're like, we got another beat for you, or I'm like, I wrote something else, and so I'm constantly making music. So I wouldn't say that my style's really changed up. I've been compared to, like most people say I sound like I'm from the East Coast or this or that. If I have a background that's more hip hop originated, but guess where I blew up? Because I got my first recording deal in San Francisco, I've gone towards electronica EDM. Now I'm huge in EDM, like Juno.com. I got Best of 2020 so far this summer for the music that I put out this summer with prosper and stab finger out in France.
Sounded great.
What? Oh, thank you.
That song, I played it much time.
Which one? Which one?
It's the one
Flamenco? Or there's
I think it's flamenco.
funk sauce.
Funk sauce.
Funk
Yeah,
sauce.
it's that
Everyone
one.
loves
It's the one
funk
that's on
sauce.
Cloud.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Thanks. So now I don't know. I don't even know. I think I love to party. I love the rap song. I love to rap. Like I'm a real rapper. Like I take it serious. But I think that so it's serious but lighthearted, and I'm learning to kind of lighten up and flow better and have more fun with it. I think that's a real big thing for me, is not being so hard on myself. Like I'm not around my brothers anymore with this whole we're serious underground rappers. I'm cheesy. I like to party. I like to have fun, and I like to be happy. I'm not gonna battle, be negative, and because of that, I always have to be in this other like vibe of like happy and jovial.
Where do your ideas come from? Like, what inspires you to make certain songs?
That's a good question. Let me just tell you about this new song I'm writing. I just kind of have to, it's like a meditation. I just have to really let go and be relaxed and allow the rhythm and freestyle and I have to let the rhythm, I'll start humming or scatting. Just start with a little like follow the beat like that, da da da. And when I start with that, then that's kind of where I start seeing the words or hearing the words being spoken through the beat. And at that point, that's where the beats come from. Sometimes I have to do what you did with the last song you were telling me that you just recorded driving.
Yeah.
Like last song, I was in my room for 3 days trying to work on the song. I wasn't sure if I was going in the right direction. So I went for a drive in the golf cart all around little tiny Avalon. And then it just went this whole other direction. It was so fun, and I was able to just project without worrying about people and the other apartments around me. And I was just like, oh, where's the 411? I want to get undone. Hit me at the after hours into the drums. And I was just like, oh yeah, okay, that was it.
Okay, so what are your like favorite forms of music, and are there any certain music styles that your voice works well with to make songs?
I think I really do well with just some raw hip hop. I need both. I definitely need the raw hip hop element because I need to be able to prove myself and get my street cred and have music that my family would respect, and because they're so hard on me, you know what I mean? And they're so tough, and that just is. But I still gotta do it, I think it's important to use our voice for strong messages, and that are serious, and I do a lot of light-hearted songs, party songs, and I don't really get to express that side of myself in the party songs. Like there's other subjects that I would like to talk about or dive into, and so I definitely need both the hip-hop and the EDM party influence songs. They both fulfill different parts of my personality, let me put it that way.
That's great. I mean, it sounds like very versatile. But what were like some of your first tracks or songs that you're a part of, or and like when you think, when you look at these songs now, like later on, what do you think of them?
I wish I still had them. This was back in the day of MySpace, and then MySpace switched formats or whatever they did, and so there was some songs they were like lost to MySpace transition because that's the last place I had them because we were still working on CDs. We didn't have pen drives quite yet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hence a lot of my shows. Yeah, we had our picture taken with a camera, and hopefully we saw those pictures. So.
But these tracks were fun.
Oh, they were good. They still had that raw element, but that was because our production lacked. But I was on songs with some really good singers, emotional, heartfelt. I did a song that I'm thinking of redoing again, called "I'm Still Singing." The chorus is "I'm still singing even though I'm broken," and I would like to revisit that track because I don't think I really opened up when I first started rapping. I was metaphoric in the way that I rapped, and that was my way about getting around being upfront and honest about what I was going through or how I was raised or, you know, stuff like that. So,
Right.
so I wasn't being forthright. And I think now I can come back with, you know, being older and just like, hey, you know, just be a little more forthright.
Right.
Upfront.
Okay. And what was it like performing live for the first time?
You know, I first started performing live with a blues soul singer, Carla Moxley, that I ran into in Oregon when I was out there with my grandmother. And beautiful singer. We linked up during a live mic show, and I got on the mic, and apparently I got on too early. But nobody cared once I started talking on the mic because I was good. That's the story I was told afterwards, anyways. Yeah. So, but that I want to consider that my first performance because that was like freestyle over the mic, which was nerve-wracking for sure. And obviously I was missing social cues.
It was an early
Yeah, but with her, I would consider it being my first show because we did a show where she sang and I rapped, and you know, I was, you know, sick to my stomach before every show, like really nervous, always trying to calm down, and then I would just, you know, spit the verse, but I think I had probably lacked a lot of the emotional or physical content, you know, like being able to move around a lot and being lucid. And I would forget my words. I remember during my first show with her out here, and but never giving up. And the crowd being on the tip of their seats. I won't forget this. Because regardless of me being stuck at this point, the crowd was like, you got this, you got this.
Yeah.
You know, on the tips of their seats, and then I got it. You know, it wasn't like, oh man, she just, you know, she lost it and gave up and boo. You know, I got back into it.
I mean, do you remember any specific songs or performances that gave you more confidence to take it like to the next level? Was this one of those performances?
Yeah, I think at that point I knew when you know the crowd is cheering for you, you know, that was really important. So that helped definitely starting performing out there.
That one stands out.
Yeah, for sure. That was like, to me, that was like a first.
The moment.
And then later on, I quit rapping for 5 years, and then going to the Boom Boom Room along with a lot of local, San Francisco local freestylers, and getting their respect, getting Kev's respect, who's huge in the hip hop industry. You know, he's got records on his walls, and he's like a big DJ of his time, and having his respect, that meant a lot because it was total struggle bus coming back and having family again.
And I guess maybe you can tell us about Flamenco and what's like the story behind making it, and how did you meet Prosper and Stadfinger?
They heard about me. They heard my song with Queued Up. My song Sonic Drop, which is probably my biggest hit today. Still, don't quote me on that, but it was huge. It was my first song that got signed to a label, and they were really pushing it, and it did really well. He was excited, so I was excited, and then Prosper and Stabfinger heard my music through Fort Knox Records labels.
Fort Knox 5?
Fort Knox, yeah, no, not the rockers.
Well, Fort Knox 5, they do break beats and a lot of electronic stuff.
Oh yeah, and then yes, you're right.
I love them.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I also made their summer mix, which was really, I was like, the funk sauce you were talking about.
Yeah,
that song is, I was like, yes!
So much.
That's like, I made it. I'm like, oh my god, I'm on Fort Knox 5 record label stuff. Yeah, so they're from France, and they heard me on there, and then I went to go visit a friend's family in Prague, and on my layover, I was going to be in France for like 16 hours. I was like, what am I going to do with it? I don't want to get a hotel. And I was like, who do I know in France? I was like, oh my god, I know Prosper, DJ Prosper. And so I hit him up, and he was like, yeah, let's get together during those 16 hours and bust out a track. And so that's just movie magic right there, people.
How often do you collaborate with like other artists? I mean,
all the time. If you want to collaborate, I'll do it.
I mean, I'll take you up on that offer. But is there any other collaborations you've done recently?
I've been steadily working with Prosper and Stabfinger since our first track, and I'm just really, which was what was it? They named their whole EP after it. Down in the basement with funky tracks. These boys, these girls get down to tracks, something like that. I don't know. Probably didn't say it right, but down in the basement. Yeah. So, they got. I've been working, and that's nice. Again, I just like working with people that we can follow through.
So okay, so how did you get into radio? And have you had like experience with doing radio before?
In college, with my family at the time, we were doing shows everywhere. We got access to the college radio station, and I remember my brother and someone else had a radio show where we would promote. Oh, we would use it to promote for our event, Skill Fest, every year. So we'd all get on there with all the homies and like play music and talk. And then I ended up doing a show consistently called Underground's Mainstream, where I would play all the music that I was influenced by that wasn't on the radio, but it was mainstream underground. I mean, this was what we were listening to. Vakil, Vakil Virtuoso, God, who else? There's so many. Sage Francis. You know what I mean? Just all these underground. So many. I could just go on and on. Braille, Benefit. Like we were just playing all, and they had this little cuss button that we used to push. I wish we had that here. It was just a little button. So you memorize the songs and you're just like, So you can play anything, even if you don't have the radio edit available online. Which
you just get a clown horn and just beep along.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is Break It 7?
Break at 7 is a show dedicated to the community and the Catalina Breakers, which is my dance group, because I don't feel like there's a very strong hip-hop culture here, and that's who I am. And if you want to get into community or have a community understand who you are and your upbringing, well, sharing the music and my knowledge of hip-hop culture is the best way for me to do that. So I use radio as a tool to share what I know and what I love about music with the community.
Oh. Is there any other cool shows or segments on the station that you can recommend checking out for like the listeners?
On Monday I have 2 shows. So Monday morning I have Motown on Mondays, because I'm inspired by Motown on Mondays in San Francisco, which is the house version, right? Because it's Motown music, but it has it's breakbeat remixes, or it's breakbeat and house mixes. So it's Motown. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm inspired by Motown Mondays in San Francisco, and but I'm not mixing it or DJing it. So I was like, I'm gonna just play Motown and just get and to me that's like foundation, soul, words, funk, because that's where breaking comes from, is hard funk, and you're just kind of getting that taste. And it's foundation.
So what hour of this Motown Monday would you tune in for that?
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Which is great to remember my shows on Monday because it's 7 and 7.
Yeah, if you're up at 7, you want to hear some funky stuff, right?
7 in the morning or 7 at night, I'm playing. Motown in the morning, and then break at 7 at night. And then I have a new show that I want to do called Sacred Saturdays, because again, I'm, awoke, and I like to meditate, and I'm really into this like sacred chant stuff. But it's gonna end up being like just like a spiritual hour or whatever. But cool songs, cool chants, and native music, anything that's just about the bigger picture.
That's Sacred Saturdays, right?
Yes.
8 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, 8 to 10. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to go push for a 2-hour show.
Sweet. Okay, do you have like a message that you're trying to convey through your like kind of different various art forms and different things related to music and art, and has being on the show helped you do that?
Yeah, I mean, you get to hear my inner thoughts and sometimes my ramblings. I guess, what would that be when you think about this for the first time? If I were to convey a message on the radio, I think it's just an expression of myself. And what I've learned at this point in my life is to allow your life and be brave enough to keep on shining and accept the times when you need to just chill and relax. you know, and I think that's it. I'm just trying to share all of me and who I am in this experience and motivation. And I'm so motivated and on point right now with my love and life, and I have love overflow within this cup, and so I can share it. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't be here.
Awesome.
And, yeah.
And you do so many things so well. And like, how did you get into like breakdancing? You mentioned a little bit more. Maybe you kind of go into that.
Well, I started, so again, I was an athlete already, and then when I moved to Colorado for college with my brother, I got into the hip hop community with him, and I saw breaking, and I wasn't gonna become I didn't see myself as a basketball star or go professionally. I didn't see myself going professionally into sports into college. So I saw break dancing, and it was dancing and acrobatics, and I was like, I want to do that. I just knew right then, I was like, I want to do that. And I got with those kids, and I was barely like 17 and a half. Like, I graduated early and went there, so I was like 17 and a half. I started training. We could break for like 4 hours, went to 8 hours. I eventually had my own dance studio. I was teaching 8 hours a day. I mean, I don't know where I found that energy today, but I just miss that environment for sure. So, again, I try to carry that love and motivation here today with my breakdancing
And
group.
speaking of that love and motivation here today, are you involved in any dancing related events or groups at the moment? Maybe can people check these out?
The Catalina Breakers, right now we have an Instagram that you can go to and follow us. Instagram, Catalina Breakers. Right now they're in quarantine, and unfortunately I am just asking to hold tight. But what's great about it is, I'm getting kids. I eventually like to make it a nonprofit group where this is what I mean by that. Like, I'm not making it I just want it to be paid for so that I can get kids here regardless of financial status. I want talent, I want drive, I want heart. And eventually I'd like to develop a team that we just can, we're a breakdancing team, we're a team, we're a crew.
What do you like so much about it? What's like your favorite part about it? Dancing? What do you like so much?
Self-expression and having that drive to wake up and sweat every day, but having fun do it. And kids and youth have it. I mean, I have adults that'll tell me all the time, oh yeah, I want to come and do it. Do they show up? No. Kids, they want to show up. They want to do it. If I could get 5 ladies or guys or people my age together in a dance hall to sweat and mess up and humble themselves and their character and their ego, that would be a beautiful thing. But until then, I'm with the kids.
Yeah, and it's really inspiring to see that you're so involved in these community activities. It really is. Are you involved in any other community activities? You're not like doing anything related to music, anything like?
Yeah. Well, I just did the summer camp, so I was director of summer camp, and I work for the city, so I do that. Anything they need me to do for the kids, that's how everyone kind of knows me here. And I'm kind of dialed in right away. But like I said, it's something that I needed. I need them as much as I hope they need me.
And I know you like working with kids for sure. I mean, can you tell us more about that? And, like, what is the most gratifying part about kids?
In San Francisco, I think what I found, so in college I was working with the youth and, being a kid myself. And then in San Francisco, I wasn't around any kids at all. And that was a huge void for me. All of a sudden I was thrust into this adult music industry in the Bay Area, and adult lifestyle in San Francisco. And I don't think I had been a kid long enough. So I think, I didn't weather well with it. So when I came here, I needed to touch back with my youth and being able to have these experiences as a child still with, that sense of innocence. And so it fulfills me on a developmental level, and I'm happy to be able to, be so motivated to be there and be myself and be playful still. And so that's kind of where that comes from.
That's really awesome. Do you still paint? Is there someone people can check out?
My paintings are pretty underground right now. I'm still working on a series called Homeless Heroes. I'm on my second oil painting. It was inspired by the homeless in San Francisco. Some of them are just set up and have they're really beautiful people. I mean, some of them are just quite amazing and beautiful and positive, and it's really beautiful to behold these raw, humbling moments that are in front of you. People who have nothing, but also some of them have everything. They have everything. You know, it's what society says they have nothing, but some of these people have absolutely everything. Way more than us driving around with everything, with all this stuff. So I think I'm trying to capture kind of that in these moments.
Cool. And I guess just speaking of people, like, how did you meet? Would you say like a lot of your friends in the music industry? Is there any like specific one of them that stands out for you, like especially or like someone you look up to in the industry, anything like that?
Well, my first mentor, the first person who gave me my first recording deal out in San Francisco, you know, DJ Josu with the huge dreads all the way down to his legs, works at Temple nightclub.
Oh.
Did you ever meet him?
No.
He stands out, like, you can't miss him.
He ties him up.
Yeah, huge dreads.
I've seen him on the dance.
They're like half of his body. Yeah. Amazing person.
He's so good.
Yeah, he has been a close friend and mentor to me. He was the first one to believe in me when, you know, my brothers who were hard on me told me I wasn't anything. I was a joke and I shouldn't take chances, and I took chances and found a whole community of people who loved me. And he was that catalyst for me. And
again, just going back to the communities of people, what is it like living on Catalina Island? You know, do you work with any other musicians or artists on this island?
Well, I think I told you today, and I'm going to stick with that comment, that living on Catalina is like it's somewhere in between living on an amusement park and a college campus. So that's what living on Catalina Island is like. And, you know, yeah. And then, sorry, what was the second half of the question?
Yeah. And do you work with any musicians, artists in that?
See, artists, I'm kind of dabbling with the local Glow with the Flow, just because I need to be around artists, and it's an opportunity to sometimes work and be around that kind of environment. On Fridays before quarantine, I used to go and perform with Vern. Everyone in town knows Vern. He does a lot of sound and rock music and live shows. And he would do these rock shows and performances, and I would come into the location and just rap over rock kind of beats. We would make it work, or it was just fun and it was different, and it's like it's all part of the experience and fun of coming to, you know, Disneyland Catalina.
Sounds pretty fun. Well, I guess we're talking about geographically. You know, I know we had a lot of fun in the Bay Area.
Yes.
All those years. You know, do you miss that place at all? You know, do you make any trips out there or going to?
I miss it, sure. I think I miss part of who I was out there. I miss the parties that used to go to the festivals, being able to dress up and wear wigs and not have to explain myself. You know, no, I could dye my hair purple. Everyone would wonder why I did it. You know, but there nobody cares. They're just, oh my god, I like it. Yeah. If you weren't wearing rainbow pants, it'd be like what are you doing? Like, you know. So I miss the creative, that you can walk out your door as your creative, most best self, like most daring, creation of yourself. That's what I miss about San Francisco. Other than that, I totally love my community, down to earth kind of experience I'm having here.
Sweet. One of the last things I kind of want to know is, what kind of styles or ideas or even genres are you exploring at the moment? Like, are you trying anything new?
Yeah, well, like I said, I was thinking about my flow, like with emceeing, and I've been producing so much music, I haven't really put much thought into that, just more putting out writings, but I realized my writings aren't necessarily right for the EDM house funk that I'm putting out, that I'm recording with this label right now. So if I can't go off on my lyricism right now, if that's not what's the opportunity given to me right now, then I want to take this opportunity to work on my flow. I've got my voice back a lot more because obviously I'm not doing a lot of late nights, after hours and stuff in San Francisco. I'm down here, regular hours and sleep, or I have my voice and my range is a lot healthier, and so I really want to push my vocal limits and start experimenting with that and new patterns. So I'm just gonna get more intricate with what I have available. Simple, but
would you say that's what's next for you in terms of like releasing content or performing somewhere?
100%. Yeah, you're gonna hear more melodic. You know, probably get more into intricate rhyme schemes. I'm just gonna because I don't have a whole song to spit a whole verses, 3 verses in a chorus, which a hearty hip hop song would have. I'm gonna do like short bursts of lyrical awesomeness, but I'm gonna have to do like these a little more melodic flows. Take my time with it. Learn how to finesse this little moment that I have to really carry it.
And we all can't wait for that. I just want to thank you, Jennifer Diaz, for letting me ask you all these questions.
Thank you.
Maybe a bit of surprise.
Awoke, if people are gonna find me.
Awoke, if you want to find
Yeah.
her. I'm Jeff Poison, did you recognize? We're going to record this and post it online as part of the Fast Forward Podcast 5. And this is awesome.
All right, thank you so much for this pop-in show. Thank you for tuning in to KISL 88.7 and listening to our fun little random show. I just really appreciate you tuning in. And like I said, if you like what we're doing here, touching base with the community on local commercial-free radio, please go to KISLAvalon.com and donate today. We've kind of hit a lull at a little over $900. We're trying to raise, I think, maybe $200 more than that or something. Don't quote me on that. We're just trying to raise more. We're not quite there yet. So please help us reach our final amount by going to KISLAvalon.com, hit donate, and support your local Avalon radio station. This is B-Girl Awoke, and we out. Have a great day.